Welcome to today's daily word of encouragement. I want to piggyback off of the sermon I preached at church Wednesday night entitled Feeling Stuck. And so if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to do so because then you'll understand the context of today's daily word of encouragement. You know, when you've gone through a time of shaking and you've gone through a time of loss, sometimes you tend to feel stuck. You don't know where to go, how to advance and move forward. And in this time right now of kind of being in between seasons, life seems to be picking back up again. But which direction do we go, right? Maybe it's a change in careers. Maybe our finances have been shaken, relationships, whatever it is that has affected health. The list goes on and on. It's time to take an assessment, to take inventory, and to decide going forward, which direction do I want to go in, and prayerfully asking God for that direction. You're not stuck. It's a time to heal. It's a time to evaluate. What do you want out of this next season in life? How do you want to rebuild something so that when the shaking does come, and it will, because that's just life, will it be able to withstand the shaking? And so there are three things that are valuable. We learn after living life a few years, you tend to find that there are three things that are so valuable that don't have a price tag. They can't be purchased. One is time. You cannot purchase time. Once it's gone, and it's out of our control. The other is valuable people in your life. You know, we all have a time appointed unto us when we take our last breath, and we can't hold on to loved ones. It's out of our control when God says it's time. But the third thing that money cannot buy, that is in our control, is our peace. And how many of you know that there is just no value on peace? You cannot purchase it, you cannot sell it, but boy, is it valuable. And so in this season, moving forward in your life, as you seek God's direction and you begin to rebuild, or you move forward, or maybe you're building on top of that which was shaken but didn't get moved because you built on the rock, and that was Christ. Guard your peace. Guard your peace. And the way that you do that, my favorite scripture, one of my many favorite scriptures, is Isaiah 26:3. And it says, "You will keep in perfect peace him whose mind is steadfast because they trust in you." And so you can't purchase peace, but the one way that you can gain it is by trusting God and being steadfast. My mind is made up. I'm not going to waver. And when I begin to waver, I'm going to get back into trusting God. And that's how I'm going to be able to guard my peace. And so we have the temptation in life to move ahead when we don't see things working for us. We tend to push doors open. We tend to be tempted to make things happen. And there are times where we've got to be relentless. There are other times that we have to be still, and we've got to trust God and not move ahead of him. Otherwise, we begin to build again on something that is not God and God's will for our life. So when the shaking does come, it will happen again, because that's life. Shaking happens. We want to be able to build something that's so strong that it can withstand the shaking. And when we move ahead of God, when we cut corners, when we build things kind of shady, right, with compromise of integrity or manipulation, those things are not going to stand long term, and you're going to find yourself repeating the same cycle. And that causes us to become bitter and blame God and blame people. And it's just a vicious cycle. And so be encouraged today that although sometimes it seems like God's ways are slow, right? Slow and steady wins the race. And so keep your mind steadfast on God. Trust him with the process. Guard your peace. And think long-term investment. Don't just think of today, but think about the years to come. What are you building in life, and how is this going to withstand a shaking? So I want to encourage you today, be prudent, be wise, ask God for wisdom, and put your trust in him. Guard your peace so that when shaking comes, you'll be able to withstand it. God bless you today. Be encouraged. God is for you. He is with you. And you're never alone. God bless.